All right, Ms. Chester. All right, I want to call our town council meeting for April the 14th to order. And if we all could stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if we all would, as usual, just take a moment to reflect for a moment of silence. Thank you all. At this time, according to the agenda, I'd like to open up the Zoom floor for public comment. If you are from the public and you have anything for our meeting and you'd like to speak, I ask that you enter your name into the chat box and unmute yourself. And you have the usual 3 minutes to address the mayor and council. And if not, we will move forward. Thank you. All right. Oh, before I move forward, I'd like to, as we review the agenda, I'd like to, I'll accept a motion to edit this agenda, to accept the agenda with edits of removing the item number 4, because we have to address that in May. So I just want to remove item number 4A from the agenda and 5A. Well, wait a minute, no, 4A from the agenda. So I'll accept the motion.
That we delete item 4A from tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Ms. McCulley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The agenda has been accepted, removing item 4A. Thank you. Oh, well, did I ask for all in favor?
Oh, you did.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. The agenda has now been accepted. All right, the next item is the consideration of ordinance 2021-OR-01, amending the town's purchasing policy and to add authorization to purchase from the state and federal contracts. It was introduced at our March 10th council meeting. Mr. Barnes, would you like to expound on that?
Your Honor, yes, we introduced this back to correct some language in the purchasing ordinance to make sure that it did allow for us to tag along onto state contracts and the federal contracts for large purchases. As you know, we've always purchased police cruisers off of that. If we had to do that ourselves, it would be costly. So this language allows that. We also had asked for language to increase the purchasing limit as far as approval by the council. I think in the between the work session and the council meeting last week, there was some confusion, or last month that there was some confusion. So what this, you all received a copy of the ordinance for tonight that's on final reading. And what it does is I think puts in writing what was discussed. So from purchases from $0 to $5,000, the staff is allowed to purchase and move forward as long as it's budgeted in the budget. 5,000 to 10, those are allowed to be done with the bidding process and then approved by the mayor and reported to the council. Councilmember Turberville sent me a note today and reminded me that we left out that needs to be done within 48 hours. So we need to insert that into that particular paragraph. Other than that, I think it answered everything and accomplished all that you actually wanted to do when we discussed this at last month's meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Barnes. Any questions from the council on that? Any comments? If not, I will, Ms. Turberville?
So we would need to approve it as amended to ensure that the 48-hour notification is in there.
Correct.
And the second is that I think there's a section in it that says that there's something with
Going up.
the vote of 3 members of the council or 2 with the mayor breaking a tie
Yes.
for an approval. So I'm just thinking back to issues we've had in the past with council members potentially abstaining from a vote that kind of brings everything to a standstill. Or perhaps not showing up for a vote and then you can never get 3 votes. So I wonder if we could change it to just say with a majority vote of council members present and voting and with the mayor breaking a tie,
Or-
event of a tie.
Or it can just say with the vote of the mayor and council.
Yes, that would.
I mean, we could have,
You don't have to say anything special then if you're not requiring any kind of voting pattern other than the normal, which would be the majority of folks there and the mayor breaks a tie,
breaking the tie.
right? So we would just remove that.
Okay. Yeah, this felt like it was unintentionally providing like a sort of saying that we had to have 3 votes rather than it being just.
I think that was already existing language.
Okay.
I'm looking for it now, but I can we can delete that.
So I would support it with those 2 amendments, with the notification requirement and with just making it a regular vote.
Yes, this would be in section 144-2 B. That when you are overriding you can waive the competitive bidding requirement. And so we can just say, instead of what it says right now is provided that such decision to override shall be approved by a vote of 3 members of the town council or 2 members of the town council and the mayor in the event of a tie vote. What we could just say at that point was instead take out that wording and just say, provided that such decision shall be approved by a vote of the council. And that puts you back to your normal process. Or you could just say, be approved by the council.
Okay, yeah, because that's how it normally is that it would be just a majority vote of the council. The mayor only votes if.
So we're going to just say, provided that such decision shall be approved by the council.
Okay.
And that changes again is in 144-2B. We are deleting a vote of 3 members of the town council or 2 members of the town council and the mayor in the event of a tie vote of the council. We're taking those words out.
Mm,
And the other change is the 48 hours. And that goes into 144-3 D, or I'm sorry. B, I'm sorry, 144-3B. We're going to be adding the words that that the mayor shall notify the council within 48 hours of the purchase. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Those amendments are now showing in the version that I have. So what you would do is you would move to amend, include those two changes, and then you vote on the main ordinance.
Well, then I would move to amend the
48-hour notice.
to include the 48-hour notification and to require a
Approval.
vote of the council rather than the vote of 3 council members.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
So it's now amended and you need to vote to adopt the ordinance as amended.
I'll make a motion that we adopt it as it's been amended.
Second.
All in favor, please
Aye.
indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
McCully and Turberville. All right. Adopted, motion approved. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, I need to go back to public comment because there was a hand raised and I missed it. And it was Miss Ellen. Miss Ellen, if you could unmute yourself.
Well,
And-
this is Ben Krasaraski. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Well, I just wanted to say I was the mayor in 1975 to 1970
Oh, yes.
to 1977, and I was warmly received by the mayor and the town administrator today. I hadn't been back in a very long time, and it was a wonderful dialogue that I had with both. I kind of reminded me of a class reunion. I was very excited. It brought me back to my early days of when I was raising a family in Edmonston, going to the University of Maryland and having been the president of the Citizens Association and eventually being the mayor. It was a very exciting time in my life. Like I said, I was warmly received, and that's a wonderful feeling. I think the town needs to keep that spirit alive, and I look forward to the 100th anniversary of the town.
Yeah.
I think that is just remarkable. Like I said, technology is incredible. To be able to do this is unbelievable. But I totally enjoyed my experience today and look forward to having lunch with you, Mayor, and perhaps with the town council.
Yes, thank you. It was such a pleasure, like I said, talking with you today. And I was so glad you took the time to stop by. Thank you. Mr. Barnes sent us your information. And this is the council. Council members, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Betsy. How you doing?
Hi, Betsy. Nice to meet you.
Good meeting you.
Now
Councilman
what-
Johnson, I'm not gonna scream.
Nice meeting you, sir.
I'm Hillary Chester. Good to meet you.
Hi, Hillary. Nice to meet you.
I'm Sarah Turberville. It's nice to meet you.
It's pretty exciting being involved in local politics. There's a lot to learn, and fortunately, you get the opportunity to meet a lot of people's needs, and I think that's what it's all about.
Indeed, indeed. Now you were 27 when you
Yes,
first
I
came
was.
on board. Yes, yes, 27.
I was a young guy.
Yes, yes, you were. So
Yeah.
thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. I've had
Yes.
I've done many things since then. I was in the
Mhm.
National Guard. I went to Desert Storm, retired from NIH, taught at Marymount University for 10 years, and Northern Virginia Community College. Lots of different things. I was the president of the Crownsville Citizens Advisory Board, and and raised a family and have 7 grandchildren,
Woohoo.
and I'm
Ooh.
very happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a resume, I tell you. And you're still going. You're still going.
I'm trying.
Well, I
But-
thank you for popping in, because I definitely said, why can't you just pop in on us? And you did. So thank you. And I do look forward to having lunch with you. Maybe you can have lunch with myself, the council, and Mr. Barnes and Miss Avery. We can make
Absolutely.
it special.
Sure. And
Okay.
I'd love to share some ideas about your big 100th anniversary.
Yeah, you
I'll
have
try and-
pictures and everything.
Maybe we can do some brainstorming.
Yes, yes,
That'd
yes,
be-
yes,
That'd be fun.
yes. That would be. That would be.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
you.
All right.
I'm
Take
gonna leave
care.
you guys.
All right.
And tell Miss Ellen hello, because
I most certainly will. I most certainly will. She
All
knows
right.
she knows what it's like when you're a mayor, trust me.
I know she does.
Thank you.
All right. Take
All right.
care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. That was cool.
Very nice.
Yes, very happy about that. All right. Whoever caught that, thank you for seeing that in the chat.
I think you got to give Sarah credit on that one.
Thank you, Miss Sarah. All righty, let's see here as I move on. All right, the next item is our work session meeting minutes, the approval. And it's the virtual work session meeting minutes for March 10th, the virtual regular council meeting minutes for March 10th, the virtual work session meeting minutes for March the 23rd, the virtual closed session meeting minutes for March the 23rd, and the virtual work session meeting minutes for March the 30th, 2021. At this time, I'll accept a motion to approve those virtual session meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the various virtual work session meeting minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Chester. Is there a second?
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Chester and Johnson. Good. All right, as we move on, the next item is the authorization to move $100,000 from the town's operating account at TD Bank to the reserve account with PNC. The new balance in the reserve account would be $735,155.02. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You did.
Okay, great.
I'll make that motion. To
Is there a
move-
second? That's a wonderful balance.
Second,
Who second that?
that was me, Hillary.
All right. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
All right.
Mayor, excuse me, Mayor,
Uh-huh.
can I just give a quick background
Yes,
on that?
yes, uh-huh.
I think
I was
this
gonna
is
ask you.
exciting that we continue to be able to do this. And if you recall, 7 years ago, we had $60,000 in our reserve fund. And so we've grown now to the 735,000. Doesn't mean that that money can't be touched. It just means that it's sitting there for a rainy day. We don't need it for operating day-to-day operation through the budget year. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that. If you have large projects or some rainy day thing happens that you want to use that fund for, it's obviously there for. But my goal was always to grow it to $1 million. So we're not quite there, but we're getting closer.
We're
and closer.
growing. We're
We
growing.
are growing.
Mhm. Thank you.
Now that you mentioned it, it is raining out. Would you like one?
Sounds like a McDonald's trip.
I would love
All right, thank you. All right. Okay, the next item is the consideration of lease purchasing, financing for the purchase of a new police cruiser included in the FY 2021 annual budget. I think we just briefly discussed it last month. Chief, would you like to highlight that? Are you here, Chief?
Yep, he
Unmute
just-
yourself. There you go.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
We're closing in on the end of fiscal year 2021. Initially, the Edmundston Police Department had requested in the previous fiscal year funding for 2 vehicles. We purchased one earlier in the fiscal year, and this is the second opportunity for us to bring in another vehicle, a 2021 Ford Explorer SUV to augment our fleet. We're going to move a couple of cars back because of very, very, very high mileage, and we want to ensure that we have serviceable vehicles in the event one of our police cars is involved in an accident and or it has to go to the maintenance shop for one reason or the other. So the money was already put in the budget. And so we're making a request for one new vehicle and decals, striping, as well as the upfitting, which are lights, sirens, and other equipment. That's it, man.
All right, any questions for the chief concerning the purchase of these cruisers?
No.
A new police cruiser.
And Mayor, I might add that the lease purchase financing on this, we obtained bids from 2 companies, Ford Credit, who we've used in the past, and then First Government Finance, who we also have used in the past. One was 5.49% and the low one was 4.99%. So that we would recommend as part of your approval to authorize the lease purchase financing and review of those documents by the town attorney with First Government Lease.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Did anyone have any questions concerning what Mr. Barnes just mentioned? Ms. Chester?
No,
All right. If there aren't any questions, is there a motion
I'll make the
to
motion. We purchase the
approve the purchase?
of the vehicle and we go with the financing at the cheaper rate
Mhm.
and have our attorney.
Recommended rate. Thank you. Is there a second? There a second?
motion.
Okay. Is all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Tuberville, did you vote?
I said aye, yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, we get a new vehicle. Okay, and the next item is the police department and code.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commission, Mayor and Town Council. Please accept my report for the month of March 2021 as written. During the month of March, there were no homicides, no forcible rapes, no felony assaults, no burglaries. We had one auto theft, no simple assaults, no thefts. We had one theft from auto for a total of 2 crimes reported during the month. Now, I want to make a point that one theft from auto had 8 cars listed on it where the airbags were stolen out of 8 cars overnight in the apartment complex on Kenilworth Avenue. And according to what we call the Uniform Crime Reporting Standards, it's counted as one crime. So all of those things on private property were put on one report. But we did a lot of different things as it relates to that particular theft, including creating flyers and knocking on doors and letting folks know that this crime occurred in their community with a view toward trying to see if there were any witnesses or any other victims where the car may have been broken into and the airbag stolen. So that was the very first part of March. And again, in the record, we had 2 crimes reported in the town during the month of March 2021. With respect to incidentals, 20 parking tickets were written, 7 moving tickets, 0 traffic arrests, 0 crime arrests. 233 premises were checked during the month. 2 traffic stops, 7 traffic impoundments, 59 calls for service, 198 red light camera citations were issued during the month, totaling $14,850. That's the police department monthly report. As it relates to code compliance, during the month of March, there were 3 municipal civil infractions written, 11 warning letters, 1 stop work order, 0 vehicles were impounded, 19 parking tickets written, 15 home and business inspections, and 12 code violation follow-ups. These activities were undertaken by our compliance inspector, Eric Beal. A number of things happened during the month relating to our automobile inspection efforts. Kenilworth Avenue had inspections done, the Kenilworth 66 business, and all of your reports reflect activity that's ongoing. Kenilworth 66, 5016 Kenilworth Avenue, and 5102 Lafayette, 4250 Kenilworth. All of these addresses, he almost visits every day to see if they're in compliance, and if not, do they need a stop work order or warning letter or some other enforcement related activity. So Mr. Beal has been very busy. We appreciate his efforts, and we'll continue to ensure that individuals and companies who do business in the town are in compliance with our code of ordinance. That's my report for the month of March. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our chief concerning police or code?
Yep. Just want to say thank you.
Yep. Thank you for that thorough report. Appreciate it. All righty. The next item is our town administrator, Mr.
Your Honor,
Barnes.
just a few things. I reminded you earlier about the Port Towns Quarterly Meeting. We're the host community on April 27th, 6:30. I'll be sending out once I get verification from the other towns, I'll be sending out the Zoom link for that particular meeting. And I'll be working with you on the agenda for that. We have some great things going on. I would encourage all of you to submit a photo with your favorite hat. Avery is collecting those so that we can display them, and we've gotten some of those in. And so please take a photo with your hat, if not yourselves, your children, grandchildren, whoever you, friend, neighbor. We're having a lot of fun with that. They do get a certificate for Shortcake Bakery to go if they submit one. So that's a good thing. And then please share your Mother's Day story. Maybe it's about your mom, maybe it's about your grandma, or maybe it's about a significant person that was like a mother to you that you wanted to just share a few sentences about and submit that. We'll be posting those. The last thing I just wanted to talk about is Avery was successful with her first grant from Keep Maryland Beautiful, $3,000, and she has put together and is putting together a really great concept for 46th Avenue. She's reached out to the businesses to join her on May 1st, along with all the other volunteers, the green team, and anyone else that can help all day long as we clean up 46th Avenue with trash pickup. We install some planters, we install some trash cans and benches, and we just beautify that particular street that day. So Avery's been working very hard on that, and you'll get more information on it as that all comes together. And if you come out and help that day, you get a free lunch. So that will be a fun way to get to know some of the business owners in that particular area. We did have a request from a resident that's buying, a new resident that is looking to buy the house at the end of 52nd Avenue right at Crittenton. It is what used to be the Barnes property. It's a little white stucco house. They were interested in knowing if the town would be willing to pave the dead-end portion of that street. If you all recall, it stops at Crittenton, 52nd does, and but there is street right-of-way for it to go on to. Eventually, it could have went to Buchanan. I don't see that ever happening, and so I had our engineer take a look and think about that, but the cost associated with it would be prohibitive. Perhaps I suggested to the buyer that they look at asking to vacate the street, and then the property would revert to the Barnes property and to Mr. Schaaf's property, and then this particular person, if they wanted to purchase their half from Mr. Schaaf, they certainly could do that. So I wanted your thoughts before I move out and tell them that's something that should happen that way.
Yeah, I'd rather keep it a green space and maybe put a couple benches down and just have some, nice area.
Mm-hmm.
Then put more blacktop and we'll have more water runoff and more
Right.
flood. That flood's terrible down there.
It does, because it comes down from Somerville and
Yep.
off of Kenilworth down to home there. Yeah. Okay, good. That's what I need, is that kind of feedback. So thanks,
I had the
Betsy.
same thought about trying to pave, that would be a terrible place to add more paving just because it does flood and it gets wet and stays wet. Do they just want a driveway? Is
She's interested, yes, in building a detached garage behind the house, and she wants that. As you know, it's always been used basically as a driveway over the years. And then if nothing else, she just wanted it to be graded better and better drainage if none of the options were available. And we can certainly take a look at that to make sure that the water's running the way it should and not onto her property necessarily.
It'd be nice for one of our retaining ponds to go down there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a perfect location.
that is true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, very good.
I
Thank
think
you.
that, I think that that's the perfect, one of the best solutions would be one of our retention ponds there. And then maybe allow them to pave it, because I think paving it is a good solution for, they don't know the history of it. So I think someone just wants, a place to put their car instead of the gravel, but knowing the history, it does flood there. The runoff is horrible. And so maybe one of the retention ponds or some trees or something to assist with that runoff, which is crazy, because we know Mr. Shape complains about that big time as well. It's a big mosquito mess. So yeah, that might be a thought, just to give them some education on it.
Very good. And the street sweeper will be here on Friday. We're going to post flyers on people's cars tomorrow, hopefully encouraging folks to park off the street if they can, so that the sweeper can hit all of the streets right up to the curb and get them cleaned up good for spring. So if you talk to your neighbors, or if you have the opportunity to encourage someone to park off street and in a driveway, that would be great. They'll be here all day Friday, sweeping the streets.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. And council dialogue, Ms. McCully.
I behaved tonight.
All right, Ms. Turberville.
Oh, I don't have anything to add.
All right, Ms. Chester.
I think that our immediate neighborhood on the 51st Avenue, 51st Place, are the unintended consequence of how great our compliance inspector is doing with the businesses over on Tanglewood, Buchanan area, that we're getting a lot of people now parking on our street. So the residents have been talking about doing the petition to see about having resident parking only stickers, and then the guest parking, to hopefully cut down on the number of people who are either employees or who are just moving vehicles from some of those body shops over and parking them on our street. So you may be hearing from some of us in this area asking to have those resident parking stickers.
I know, Councilman Chester, that Eric had requested a copy of a petition. I'd given it to him. He was going to give that to the folks on 52nd Place. And as I told him then, all we need is 51%, and you all then can implement an agreement of the property owners on the street, and then can agree to that using permit parking.
And then I think the volunteers that are coming to wrangle, I don't know if that's round up all of the cats for the spay, neuter, and return. It seems like that may be happening the last week of April 27th or 28th. So there was a little bit of a delay with one of the main coordinators, but we're hoping to get that going before there's a lot of new things.
Very good. Mr. Johnson. Oh, thank you, Ms. Chester. Did you have something else?
The only thing I was gonna ask, I know we talked at our last meeting or at one of our work sessions about the idea of trying to encourage businesses to do like adopt a street for trash pickup.
Mhm.
And maybe, I know Rod, you were just mentioning that there's gonna be the big pickup on 46th Avenue, and maybe that's a good time. Also, if we can formulate before that, you know, how we would want to pitch that to businesses to even see if during that event, also see if any businesses would want to adopt some streets.
Yeah,
Ingraham
and
has
it
a
doesn't
lot.
have to be a business. It could be a family that wants to adopt a street
Yeah.
too. Yeah, and so certainly, yeah, I'll get that put together and have it ready to go to try to get some of those folks over there encouraged to do it.
And then for the street sweeping, do the businesses like over on Ingraham, do they move their cars off?
Not typically, not typically.
Yeah.
But we try to get as many as we can and up as close to the curb as we can everywhere.
Could we put up no parking signs for the day?
We could, we certainly could.
I-
Could,
We're paying for the machine and it's for one day. If it was a street repair, we'd have to do it.
right.
We just can't put up no parking for the day.
It looks pretty rough over there with like my
Okay, well, I mean, if that's something, your guys are gonna get the calls. You're gonna get the complaints that when people don't have anywhere to park, but we could definitely do that.
I'll take the calls.
I know today out front here in the building, they repaired the street from a water main break and you couldn't, the signs went up yesterday and nobody could park on 52nd Avenue from Emerson down to Ollie's Turn, and everybody moved their cars. I don't know where they went, but they moved them.
I mean, it's just for a day and really it's for a half a day because
Yeah,
after they go up and down the street, then they're good to go.
right. Okay, we'll work on that tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Johnson?
Only thing I have is over there on Buchanan Street in the mornings and in the afternoons, those auto shops is ridiculous with all those cars double parked, trucks double parked. I mean, it's a big maneuver to get up and down from what's that, 51st down to going towards the forklift. I mean, his car's always blocking. It's when it's supposed to be a two-way, it ends up being a one-way. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. What I have is, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I will say though, that is a mess there, but that mess has gotten, believe it or not, better. Strangely enough, as bad as it looks, it's gotten better. And I can see that it's gonna get better. Eric has made a big difference. He's made a big difference. And I think part of it is a process. I think some other things are going to be moving soon. I think it's a process. So I'd say look out for some more changes to be made. Because I can see it happening. One of the things, I forget who just made this point. Somebody said something about signs. I think Ms. Hillary, you must have. One of the things I was going to say is, what do you think about getting some signs for some of our events or things that are happening? Like our street sweeping, you just mentioned. I don't know if it needs to say emergency route, because what triggered it this week was 52nd Avenue. I did see the signs and it said the times, which was good. The police do that a lot. It said the times and people complied. But I know I mentioned to you, I think Mr. Barnes or the chief, maybe we could have, when we do our caravan parade route, so people will know, okay, I don't know who we talked about this. Well, people, I think it's chief, I don't know. Did we talk about this, chief?
Yes, ma'am. we did.
Yeah, parade route.
Uh-huh.
But I think you were saying one thing, but I was thinking another thing. Just so they know, the chief was saying it so they know what route, or was my husband saying, somebody was saying it, so they know what route that we're going. I'm saying it so that they know this is what the event is actually happening, parade route. So people can come and either stand out there or know we're having the parade today. Or even know that this is the route that they'll be going. Or we can have signs that say event today. They may not know what event, but they know we're having an event and they'll think, oh, they sent out the bulletin. They sent it out in Constant Contact. That's right, it was that event. We have signs that say event today. I know we tried it with the A-frames, but what happens is it rains or we forget to put out the A-frames, those kind of things. The A-frames still work, it's cool, but I think those just signs that say 2 lines, those bandit signs, you just stick them down in the dirt and it works. We use them all the time when we're running for office. And I think that'll work for when we're saying street sweeping. I don't know what you guys think about that, but just a set of signs that we can always use for particular events. And the same thing what we were talking about with the electrical signs. I know we didn't bring it back up when we were doing our budget, but I think we need to revisit that since we're talking about our budget, the electrical sign.
Yeah, we're actually working on a quote for that now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a
Cool.
rainy day budget fund.
Yeah. There was another sign I was talking about, street sweeper. Even if we had a sign that says street sweeper day, hours between blah, 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 and blah, 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 move your vehicle or something. Yeah, something real plain, cool. People know what we're doing.
But yeah, that's what we're going to do tomorrow with the white signs like I did with the construction ones today.
From this hour to that hour.
Correct.
Yeah, just real basic. And so Mr. Barnes is submitting I know it may not matter too much to everybody, but we're on the road to Banner City again. It matters if you're, like into Maryland Municipal League, being Banner City. We've been Banner City for eons. It matters. It matters. We get a little sticker that says Banner City. So we're on the road to Banner City again. Just so you know, we comply. You have to comply, Ms. Hillary, with certain things. Their activities. It's a way of the Maryland Municipal League ensuring that you do certain things. It's part of learning. And so you attend meetings. You just do certain things to. It's a part of staying active and ensuring that you learn. You go to the conference, you helped us get to Banner City by attending the conferences and the classes and so on and so forth. So so Mr. Barnes just submitted the form for the signatures for Banner City. So those are the things. And tomorrow for PGCMA, we're doing elections for officers for PGCMA. And that's Prince George's County Municipal Association. And that's one of the other things you have to be in attendance of those meetings as well. So, and I usually go. So we're cool. We did it. And that's all I have. And I think Ms. Tuberville had a very good question that she wanted Mr. Barnes to get Ms. Ferguson to chime in on, but I think it's also important. I don't know if Chief wants to chime in on that. but I'll just make it general, not to belabor the hour because it's 8:13. What, Miss Turbeville? Don't give me that look on the side. Oh, you didn't? Just the new.
Mayor, that's just my face.
Oh, okay. It's beautiful. The new police reform changes that have occurred. Yeah, Ms. Ferguson or Chief, you want to give just a brief summary of some of the, I don't want to specify anything in particular, but if you want to just give us a brief update of that and your thoughts on some of those changes for our police departments, possibly.
I have read the 3 bills that you'd be most interested in that were adopted. And there's nothing easy or short about them. Some of them, the one runs for many pages. And they're, one thing I can tell you, it's going to cost additional money for the departments. There's reporting required. There's, even though they got deleted the reference to the law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights, there's still a fairly long and complicated process to discipline officers. Only the choice of who participates in the investigation and also who looks at it preliminarily to determine whether or not charges are appropriate that's constituted at the county level. You still have that, they've inserted that interim step now, and then you also still have the option for the officer to go to a trial board. The Police Training Commission, which has a somewhat different name going forward, but is required to put together standards and is taking a lot more ownership of whether an officer can be hired, whether an officer is entitled to a Maryland Police Training card, the cards that they need to be able to work for a police department in Maryland. And they're supposed to be a lot more active about that. So I think that's designed to avoid officers with issues, disciplinary issues, moving from department to department, which is a problem that has been around. They also are setting statewide requirements for body cameras. You've had that already to a certain extent, but now that's formally done, and they've made certain requirements there. These are very complicated bills. I think the chief will agree that they are, and there are so many boxes that the departments are going to have to check. But most of these requirements don't go into effect until July 1, 2022. So there's a more extended time to understand what the requirements are. You're also going to have at the town a person who handles information, giving out information about making a complaint against police officers and telling them how that they can keep up with where their complaint is. Kind of like an ombudsman for that. Just a lot of requirements that are being placed. And then the use of force standard has changed. I don't know if in real life what that's really going to mean. And there's also changes to when you can have a no-knock search warrant.
Right.
So there's just, I know the Chiefs Association will probably be working on this a lot with advice from attorneys too, and from Training Commission. I'm really interested to see how they're going to constitute this body where, and before you can proceed on a disciplinary matter through the town, you have to go through this committee at the county level. and the county decides who is on that committee.